He lost everything in a single, terrifying day.
The masterpiece of heaven, the leader of the morning stars, stripped of his radiant glory and cast like a burning coal into the infinite void.
He was falling, not just through space, but away from the only source of life he had ever known.
His skin, once composed of living light and precious gems, was now scorched by the friction of his own rebellion. His music, a symphony that once led the choirs of eternity, had curdled into a guttural roar of defiance.
Decide that God was not enough?
What happens when the creature decides he no longer needs the Creator?
Stay with us, because the fall of Lucifer is not just an ancient story. Of stars and fire, it is the blueprint of the war for your own soul. From the pinnacle of glory to the depths of the abyss, let us begin at the very start of time. Before the foundations of the world were laid, there was only the unapproachable light. In this realm of absolute holiness, God created his most magnificent servant, Lucifer, the light bearer. He was the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and staggering beauty. The fiery ruby, the golden topaz, the emerald, the sapphire, and the diamond. These were not mere ornaments. They were part of his very being, set in mountings of pure gold, crafted on the day of his creation. As an anointed guardian cherub, Lucifer walked on the holy mountain of God.
Among the stones of fire, he was the conductor of heaven's worship.
Within his body, God had fashioned golden pipes and timbrels. When he moved, the light and music of the universe flowed through him in a seamless harmony. For eons, he stood closer to the throne than any other, as a flawless mirror reflecting the glory of the Almighty. But perfection in a created being requires the power to choose. In the silence of Lucifer's thoughts, a shadow began to stretch. He began to look at his own reflection more than he looked at the Father. He saw his brilliance, he heard his own music, and a fatal hunger took root. Why should the glory stop with me? He wondered. Why shouldn't it belong to me? The internal monologue became a cosmic decree of rebellion. The 5 I wills shattered the peace of eternity to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High.
He didn't want to be God, he wanted to replace God.
In that moment of supreme pride, his wisdom became corrupted. The morning star turned his back on the sun, and the first sin in the history of existence was born. Lucifer did not declare war with a trumpet blast. He began a campaign of divine poison. He moved through the ranks of the angels, thrones,
dominions, and powers.
Using questions instead of threats.
Because the angels had never heard a lie.
They didn't know how to recognize one.
Deceit was a new language, and Lucifer was its only speaker.
Are we truly free? He would whisper. Is the Most High truly a father or a tyrant? Holding us back from our true potential. Look at my light. We could rule our own destinies. He weaponized his beauty to blind them.
Slowly, the unison of heaven began to fray.
Groups of angels gathered in the shadows of the clouds.
Though favored, doubt took root among them.
He has gone too far. This madness must end. We must stop him now.
The peace that passes all understanding was being replaced
By the tension of a gathering storm. The division finally became public. Lucifer stood upon a vast celestial plain and called for a choice.
The sight that followed was the greatest tragedy in the history of the spirit world. A third of the heavenly host stepped away from the light. Millions of eternal beings, convinced by the lie,
Lined up behind the morning star.
their light became cold and artificial.
Their songs became war cries. But the throne was not silent.
Michael the Archangel stepped forward.
His name, a direct rebuke to Lucifer's pride. Michael, who is like God?
Michael did not fight for his own glory,
but for the honor of the king. He raised a sword forged from the lightning of God's holiness. And behind him, the 2/3 of the loyal host rallied.
The golden streets of the celestial city were now a battlefield.
The war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought back.
It was a cataclysm of power beyond human comprehension.
Imagine nebulae colliding and the energy of a billion suns clashing.
The rebel angels hurled accusations and doubt,
while the loyalists fought by the blood of the lambs and the word of their testimony. Lucifer, now losing his angelic form,
and shifting into a prairie desert, into a predatory serpent,
charged at the gates of the inner sanctuary.
but the holiness of God was a wall he could not breach.
Every time he struck, the light of heaven burned him like acid.
Michael was relentless. For every inch the rebels gained,
The justice of God pushed them back.
the tides were turning.
the rebels were being driven toward the edge of the celestial plateau.
And the morning star was about to become a falling coal. Lucifer's power broke.
In a final surge of desperate rage, he tried to reach for the throne. But the weight of his own sin had become a gravity.
He could no longer resist. The beauty he had worshipped in himself vanished.
Replaced by a twisted, hollow hunger.
He was no longer a cherub. He was the adversary, the Satan.
He looked around and saw his legions, his stars, falling with him. Millions of beings who had once sung the dawn into existence
were now screaming in terror as they were disconnected from the source of life.
For the first time, Lucifer felt fear. Absolute, paralyzing fear.
He didn't regret his sin, only his defeat. The heavens began to reject his presence.
The darkness inside him solidified, and he realized he had not just lost a battle, he had lost his home forever. Then the Almighty spoke with a decree
that shook the fabric of the universe. The gates of heaven opened, and Lucifer and his angels were hurled out.
As Jesus would later describe, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. A brilliant, terrifying streak of ruined glory plunged through the dimensions. And he landed on a newly created earth.
A world of life and light, not yet touched by shadow.
The morning star, now the Prince of Darkness,
hit the ground with a force that shook the foundations of the world.
He pulled himself out of the smoking crater, covered in the ash of his fall, and looked up at the stars he could no longer call home. His eyes, now glowing with malevolent fire,
turned toward a lush, perfectly lit garden nearby.
He couldn't reach the throne of God anymore, but he could reach the children of God. Back in heaven, the silence was heavy and long. The grand plazas, once filled with millions, were now vast and empty, covered in a deep, melancholic silence of loss. The remaining angels stood in their ranks, watching the last faint streak of a falling star vanish into the abyss below. They had seen the ultimate price of pride.
Then the choir began to sing again.
But the song was no longer just about beauty. It was about the truth.
It was a song of fierce resolve.
as the heavens vibrated with the power of the remaining voices.
They fell to their knees before the great throne.
For his judgments are true and just.
Heaven was restored, but it was forever changed.
In the garden below, the shadow began to creep. The serpent coiled around the tree of knowledge,
Watching the first man and woman as they slept in peace.
the battle for the stars had become a battle for the human heart. This ancient cosmic mirror reflects the tragedy of the fall, the consequence of choosing self over the Creator.
And it reflects the same struggle we face even today.
The path of Lucifer is the path of pride.
It is the path that says, I am enough without God.
Pride isn't just about arrogance. It is about self-sufficiency. It is the belief that our own light is better than the unapproachable light. But when we block the sun, we only find ourselves in the dark. Look at our own world today.
We seek to build our own thrones, to be our own gods.
And in doing so, we become prisoners of our own ambition. The choice between I will and thy will is the crossroads of every soul. One leads to the heights of a false mountain, the other to the peace of the Father's house.
But there is another way. The way of Michael and the loyal host. Michael didn't look at his own reflection. He looked at the king. His strength came from his submission. He knew that the creature's greatest glory is to reflect the Creator. True freedom is not found in independence from God, but in perfect alignment with His will. The loyal angels didn't lose their freedom, they found their purpose. They chose holiness over shadow, love over pride.
And in that choice, they were established forever.
Their names are written in the book of life.
The story of Lucifer is a warning, but the story of the Son of God is the answer. While Lucifer tried to climb up to be like God,
God himself chose to step down to be like us.
the second Adam succeeded where the first morning star failed. He laid down his glory to take up our shame. He walked the path of lowliness to lead us to the heights of heaven.
His light doesn't blind, it heals.
His song doesn't demand, it invites. The morning star has fallen, but the bright and morning star has risen. The morning star has fallen, but the bright and morning star has risen.
Every shadow in our lives is just a witness to a much greater light. Pride tries to climb up to take. It is a hunger that can never be satisfied. But love chooses to step down to give.
The King of Kings became a servant of all.
In his eyes, we see the heart of the Father reaching out to us. The contrast is the ultimate choice for every human soul. He didn't consider equality with God something to be grasped, but emptied himself for our sake. The creator of stars chose a manger of hay. Lucifer's pride left him in the cold isolation of the abyss, but Christ's humility led him to the cross to bring us home.
The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy.
But the Son came so that we might have life and have it to the full.
He bore our rebellion on his own body.
The victory was won not through force, but through sacrifice.
One drop of his blood is more powerful than all the darkness of the pit. Death could not hold him. The grave is empty.
The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
He is the Alpha and the Omega.
Which morning star will you follow?
The one who promised you glory but left you in the dark?
Or the one who gave up his glory to walk beside you in the light?
Don't listen to the whisper.
Kneel before the King who loves you.
The war is over, and the victory is already yours in him.
Choose the path of life. Choose the path of the Son.
Let his light fill the empty places in your soul.
The enemy is defeated. The light has come. Walk in the victory of the bright and morning star.
Your story doesn't have to end in a fall. It can end in glory.
Lucifer lost the stars. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son.
He is the light that no darkness can extinguish. Even the smallest act of love reflects his eternal glory.
Find your peace in the one who created it.
His plan for you is far bigger than your own dreams. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the origins of fire and light.
If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs the light today.
Subscribe to Epic Bible Stories as we journey through the most powerful moments in history.
Leave a comment below. How do you choose to walk in the light this week?
The dawn is coming, and the King is on his way.
You are not alone. He is with you, always.
The shadows are fleeting, but his kingdom is eternal.
Until next time, walk in the light of the bright and morning star. Amen.